Guys, gawin natin ang isa sa favorites ng BON mo, and that's your cardiology nursing concepts. So, let's start. Number one, Lisa, who has been diagnosed with variant angina, is scheduled to receive an oral calcium channel blocker twice daily, which statement indicates she needs further teaching. So that means we are looking for the wrong answer. Put a big X. Guys, A, I need to notify my cardiologist if my feet or legs start to swell. B, I am supposed to report to my cardiologist if my pulse rate decreases below 60. C, avoiding grapefruit juice will definitely be a challenge for me since I usually drink it every morning with breakfast. Or D, my spouse Jean told me that since I have this problem, we are going to stop walking in the mall every morning. Oh, and the best answer is Delta. My spouse Jean told me that tigil na kami sa paglakad sa mall every morning. Why is that wrong? Anong meron si Lisa, guys? Note, it's what? Variant angina, also known as your Prince metal angina. So guys, ang Prince metal angina, what's the cause? The cause is because of vasospasm or vasoconstriction. Kaya nga ang kanyang drug of choice is an oral calcium channel blocker because it can vasodilate. Okay? So bigyan mo ng vasodilator para mawala ang vasospasm or vasoconstriction, you can solve the problem of variant angina. Bakit maling-mali ang delta? Sabi dyan, since I have this problem, which is yung variant angina, we are going to stop walking in the mall every morning. Is that correct? No, because the cause of Prince metal angina or variant angina is vasospasm or vasoconstriction and not because of activity. Okay? The chest pain is not because of activity but rather of vasospasm. Delta, this one is answering your stable angina or the chest pain that you get because of exertion or because of activity. That's why it's also known as your exertional angina. Okay? So, exertional angina ba siya meron? No. Variant angina. So, Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie, they are correct. I have to notify if my legs and feet start to swell. Yes, because peripheral edema is one of the adverse effect of your calcium channel blocker. So, tama yan. I am supposed to report to my cardiologist if my pulse rate decreases below 60. Yes, kasi pag mababa ang pulse rate, mababa ang perfusion sa cardiac muscles, it can cause cardiac ischemia or your chest pain, kaya reportable yan. Charlie, avoiding grapefruit juice daw. Kailangan mag-avoid ng grapefruit juice kapag ikaw ay naka-calcium channel blocker? Yes. Because grapefruit juice interacts with calcium channel blocker. It will decrease the metabolism of your calcium channel blocker. So pag mababa ang metabolism ng drug sa katawan, it stays longer in the body. If it stays longer in the body, the levels of that drug can easily increase into toxic levels and can cause toxicity of that drug. Okay? Kaya dapat avoid muna sa grapefruit juice. Charlie is also correct. Delta is the best answer. Next, number 2. Zhongli, who has type 2 diabetes, is admitted to Wangshu In Hospital with chest pain and scheduled for cardiac catheterization. Which medication must be withheld for 24 hours before and 48 hours after the procedure? A. Glipizide, B. Metformin, C. Repaglinide, or D. Insulin. Oh, among all of these anti-diabetic medications, the best and only answer is Bravo, metformin. Guys, remember, cardiac catheterization, are you using a contrast dye to visualize the coronary arteries? Yes, okay? So guys, metformin in combination of your contrast dye. This one is dangerous because it can cause what we know as your lactic acidosis. Okay? Lactic acidosis is toxic to the patient. Okay? Toxic and life-threatening to the patient. That's why you have to withhold metformin before and after cardiac catheterization because it cannot be in combination with the contrast dye used to visualize your coronary arteries in your cardiac catheterization. Okay? The rest, they can be taken before and after cardiac catheterization because they don't cause any effect, okay? Or any reaction with your contrast dye. Okay, that's all. Number 3, Tignari had a resection of an abdominal aortic aneurysm yesterday. His IV has been running at 150 ml per hour for the past 10 hours. His urine output for the past 3 hours was 90, 50, and 20 ml. Okay? BUN is 35 milligrams per deciliter and creatinine is 1.8 milligram per deciliter. What should the nurse do first? A. Check the serum albumin level. B. Check the urine specific gravity. C. Continue to monitor urine output. Or D. Call the primary healthcare provider. If you answered Delta, you are correct. Okay? Guys, what's going on with Tignari? Nagkaroon ng resection ng abdominal aortic aneurysm. Now, you look at the urine output, initially 90, tapos naging 50, tapos biglang naging 28. Note that the normal urine output should be 30 to 60 ml per hour. So pag less than 30, that means something is wrong with the kidney function. Further looking at the situation, look at the BUN. Naging 35 milligram per deciliter. The normal BUN is what? It should be 15 to 20 milligrams per deciliter. Increasing blood urea nitrogen. Okay, blood urea nitrogen. That means this nitrogenous waste is not being excreted, kaya tumataas siya sa katawan. Hence, your 35 milligrams per deciliter. And next, creatinine level of 1.8 milligrams per deciliter. What's the normal crea? Ang normal na crea natin, there are different ranges per different book. But I follow 0.2 to 0.8 milligrams per deciliter. More than that, okay, more than that, which is 1.8 milligram per deciliter, indicates that the creatinine, one of the waste products in the body, is not being excreted. And guys, there is only one organ in the body that excretes creatinine, and that's your kidneys. So obviously, in this situation, you are looking at the kidney function of the patient. Anong meron? Abdominal aortic aneurysm. Circling back to that, okay? Circling back to that, if there is a resection of that abdominal aorta, because of abdominal aortic aneurysm or your AAA, okay? And your abdominal aorta, that's the aorta that gives blood supply to different organs in the lower part of the body, including your kidneys, okay? So pag nagkaroon ng problema sa abdominal aorta, there is poor blood supply sa mga organs, including to your kidneys, okay? And then if there's poor blood supply to the kidneys, the kidney function will go down. Okay? Kidney function will go down. And isa sa pinaka-function talaga ni kidney is to make urine. Tama? Gumawa ng ihi. So, pag bumaba ang urine output mo, ano nangyari sa urine output mo? Naging 28 ml per hour. Bumaba from the 30 to 60 ml per hour acceptable range. So, bumaba ang paggawa ng ihi. Is that indicative of decreased kidney function? Yes. And then, ano pa nangyari? Tumaas ang mga waste products sa katawan. That's also indicative of decreased urine function because you can no longer excrete nitrogenous waste products, okay? Which is your BUN and creatinine. That's why you have to phone the doctor, okay? And tell the doctor what's happening to your patient for prompt medical management. Okay? Di mo na kailangan i-check ang serum albumin level because this has nothing to do with protein, but rather your kidney functions. And then, di mo na kailangan i-check ang urine-specific gravity kasi meron ka ng urine output, meron ka pang BUN at creatinine level. These are enough metrics to report something is going on with the kidney of the patient. And then, you don't continue monitoring the urine output kasi nga bumaba na nga ng 28, reportable to the physician. Okay? So, that's the best answer. Number 4. The nurse is caring for Kaya who has hypertension and is on propranolol. Propranolol, that's your beta blocker. which finding suggests an adverse effect of the medication. Okay? Guys, anong best answer dito? A. Report of infrequent insomnia. B. Development of expiratory wheezes. C. Blood pressure change from 150/80 to 138/72 milliliters per mercury or delta. Heart rate change from 88 to 72 beats per minute. Okay? Alin dyan ang pinakadelikado? Alin dyan ang A, A, alin dyan ang airway, breathing, circulation priority natin? Which of the following presents an airway problem? Bravo. Okay? Expiratory wheezes. Beta blockers. What I want you to remember about your beta blockers is that, diba, this is the antihypertensive drug that will block your catecholamines. Tama? Catecholamines. And your catecholamines, these are your norepi, tama? And your dopamine. And these are the catecholamines responsible for your fight or flight response. Okay? Fight or flight response or your sympathetic nervous system response. Okay? So, just think, ano ba yung kailangan mo para mag-fight, lumaban, or mag-flight or tumakbo sa kung ano man yung threat na nasa harap mo. To be able to fight, dapat ang airway mo, ang nangyayari, in the presence of catecholamines, epi, and dopamine, in the presence of fight or flight response or a sympathetic nervous system, your airway should dilate because a dilated airway will increase oxygen availability. You will be able to fight because of more oxygen. You will be able to flight or run away because you have more oxygen because of a dilated airway. Okay? And then ang blood vessels mo. The presence of your catecholamines, epi and norepi or dopamine, in the presence of your fight or flight response, in the presence of your sympathetic nervous system. Okay? Your blood vessels should be constricted because a constricted blood vessel increases the blood pressure, increases the perfusion of the organs. Okay? Perfusion, yan yung nabibigyan ng maayos na blood supply ang organs sa katawan. So pag may maayos na blood supply sa organs, can you fight the threat in front of you? Yes. Can you flight or run away from the threat in front of you? Yes. That's exactly what your fight or flight response is doing. Now, look at what's happening. You have a beta blocker. Your beta blocker, it will block your catecholamines. It will block epi, norepi, and dopamine. It will block your fight or flight response. It will simply block your sympathetic nervous system. So, pag binlock mo ang sympathetic nervous system mo, everything gets reversed. So, pag wala ka ng fight or flight response, guys, your airway, will they dilate or will they constrict? The airway will constrict. That's all because of your beta blockers. So if you constrict the airway, what is the breath sound that you hear in a constricted airway? Expiratory wheezes. Okay? And then when you constricted ang blood vessels kapag may SNS, pag kinancel mo ang SNS, what will happen? Dilate ang blood vessels. And a dilated blood vessel, it will drop the blood pressure. Okay? Kaya nga, siyang tunay. Ang beta blockers, binibigay mo para pababain ng blood pressure ng pasyente. Ano ang patient mo? Si Kaya, may hypertension. Okay? Kaya nga siya binigyan ng propranolol. Beta blocker to decrease the blood pressure. But the adverse effect of decreasing the blood pressure by blocking catecholamines is also constricting ang airways. Okay? Constrict the airways, which is your expiratory wheezes. That's why Bravo is the adverse effect of this medication. Malinaw? Yes, Bravo is the best answer. Next, number 5. Yoimia, who is being treated for a STEMI or your ST elevation myocardial infarction, is receiving alteplase. What is the priority nursing action? A. Monitor for kidney failure. B. Monitor psychosocial status. C. Monitor for signs of bleeding. Or D. Have heparin sodium available at the... What's the best answer? If you answered Charlie, you are correct. Okay, you monitor for signs of bleeding. What's alteplase, guys? That's your thrombolytics. From the word itself, thrombus or clot. Lytics means it will lysis or it will dissolve the clot. Okay? Thrombolytics dissolves clot. So if it dissolves the clot, it will increase your risk for bleeding. Saan dyan ang nag-i-increase ng risk for bleeding? Di Charlie. Okay? Wala nang ibang tamang sagot. Number 6. Albedo is on IV heparin for atrial fibrillation. What medication should the nurse ensure is available? Okay? Guys, A. Vitamin K. B. Protamine sulfate. C. Potassium chloride. Or D. Aminocaproic acid. Oh, you are correct if you answered protamine sulfate. Ano ba ang meron si albedo atrial fibrillation? So, pag nag-fibrillate lang ang atrium mo, the upper chamber of the heart, it increases blood stasis or yung blood nagsistay lang doon. Because heparin is an anticoagulant. Okay? Anticoagulant. So, anticoagulant, you prevent the clot from forming when you have increased risk for blood stasis like atrial fibrillation. You should have protamine sulfate, which is the antidote of your heparin. Because if you have already toxic levels of heparin, which is in the case, it will cause increased risk for bleeding, di ba? Pag may increased risk for bleeding ka na, okay, or the patient starts to bleed out of nowhere because you are in IV heparin, you have to give your antidote, and that's your protamine sulfate, okay? Protamine sulfate is the antidote for heparin. Vitamin K, that's the antidote for your warfarin. Remember, every time there are wars, there are killings. Potassium chloride para saan yan? Di hypokalemia, mababang potassium. Aminocaproic acid, guys, that's the antidote for your thrombolytics. Okay? Thrombolytics. Let's answer bravo. Number 7. Before initiating thrombolytic therapy for Yemiko, who has pulmonary embolism, which finding should be reported to the primary healthcare provider? A. Adventitious breath sounds. B. Temperature of 99.4 Fahrenheit or 37.4 degrees Celsius. Or C. Blood pressure of 198 over 110. Or D. Respiratory rate of 28 breaths per minute. You get it right if the answer is Charlie. Mataas na blood pressure. My God, 198 over 110. Guys, ito lang. This is one thing I want you to remember about hypertension. Hypertension, that's increased pressure of the blood. Okay? Increased blood pressure. You have increased pressure of the blood. Where? In the vessels of the blood. In the vessels. Guys, increased pressure in the vessels of the blood will increase the risk for vessel injury. Pag na-injure mo yung vessel, anong nangyayari? Can it cause bleeding? Yes, okay? And guys, this is what I want you to know. There are vessels in the body that are extra sensitive to increased blood pressure. And those are the vessels of the brain. Okay? Vessels of the brain. So, kaya nga, di ba, one of the causes of mortality of hypertension is stroke or your cerebrovascular accident. Okay? Kasi nga, sa sobrang taas ng pressure ng blood, the vessels in the brain can no longer accommodate that increased pressure. They can get injured, they can get ruptured, okay? Pag nag-rupture yung mga vessels na yun, they can cause your cerebral hemorrhage or also known as your hemorrhagic stroke, okay? So that one increases the risk for cerebral hemorrhage. And once that happens, and you have started a thrombolytic therapy, the one that dissolves clot, and when your brain is bleeding and you are on a medication that dissolves clot, can you clot the bleed in the brain? No longer. And if you cannot do that, can the patient sustain the stroke and eventually die from the stroke? Yes, okay? Kaya you have to really report high blood pressure to the physician prior to starting your thrombolytics therapy to remove the risk of your cerebral hemorrhage. That's why Charlie is the best answer. Number 8, Amber is in sinus bradycardia with a heart rate of 45 beats per minute and a BP of 82/60. She reports dizziness. What intervention should the nurse anticipate? A. Digoxin. B. Defibrillate. C. Continue to monitor. Or D. Prepare for transcutaneous pacing. And you are correct if you answered Delta. It's the best answer. Guys, among all the choices, nasaan dyan ang nag-i-increase ng heart rate? Okay? You have to increase the heart rate. You can use transcutaneous pacing. That one can increase the heart rate of the patient. Dizziness, it's because of the drop in the heart rate and the drop in the blood pressure. Wala nang maayos na perfusion sa brain, nagkaroon ng dizziness. Okay? Kasi wala nang masyadong blood circulation sa brain. So if you want to improve blood circulation in the brain and decrease the incidence of dizziness, edi you have to increase the heart rate. How do you increase the heart rate? Transcutaneous pacing. Kasi all other choices will not increase the heart rate. Digoxin, the side effect is decrease in heart rate kasi it's negative chronotropic. Tama? And then defibrillate, no, you don't defibrillate the client in sinus bradycardia. There are only 2 defibrillatory rhythms of the heart. And always remember, it's your ventricular fibrillation and your pulseless VTAC. Pulseless ventricular tachycardia. Pag yan ang nakita mo sa monitor, that's the one you defibrillate, not sinus bradycardia. Okay? Continue to monitor, very wrong. Something's happening to your patient, dizziness, low heart rate, low blood pressure. You have to do something as a nurse and you have to prepare and anticipate for a transcutaneous pacing. Delta is the best answer. Number 9, while observing the cardiac monitor, the nurse notes DLUC has no P waves, wide QRS complexes, and a regular ventricular rate over 140 beats per minute. Which dysrhythmia can he be experiencing? A. Sinus tachycardia, B. Ventricular fibrillation, C. Ventricular tachycardia, or D. Premature ventricular contractions. And the best answer is this one is ventricular tachycardia. Guys, tinan mo anong clues. No P waves. So, eliminate all the choices that has P waves. Sinus tachy. Sinus. Okay? So, meaning it's a normal rhythm pero increased lang ang rate. Sinus tachycardia, may P waves ba? Yes, may P waves ka dyan. Meron ka din QRS. Okay? Ventricular fibrillation. Okay? What makes it wrong? The word regular ventricular rate. A ventricular fibrillation is when the ventricles of the heart is just quivering. Okay? Irregular beats. Okay? Ganun lang. Ano yung ginawa kong sound? Anyway, ventricular fibrillation, this is a irregular rhythm. Irregular rhythm ang ventricular fibrillation. Premature ventricular contractions, the question is, no P wave ang sabi sa question, does your premature ventricular contraction have P wave? The answer is, yes, may P wave dyan, making it wrong. The best answer is ventricular tachycardia. This one, no P waves because the ventricles take over the rhythm na sobrang lakas, okay? Diba, it's your ventricles that are the stronger muscle pumps of the heart. That's why if it's in tachycardia or ventricular tachycardia, it overshadows all other rhythms like your atrial wave or your P wave. Kaya nga, no P wave na nandyan. Okay? And then anong meron? QRS complexes lang. And it's a regular rhythm. Kasi paano ba yung ventricular tachycardia mo, guys? It looks like, ang pangit ng drawing ko, parang ganyan. Sore thumb appearance. Okay? Pero regular ang rhythm. That's why you call it your ventricular tachycardia. Charlie is the best answer. Number 10, Eulah's cardiac rhythm has no P waves, but fibrillatory waves are seen before each QRS. What is the rhythm? A. Atrial fibrillation, B. Sinus tachycardia, C. Ventricular fibrillation, or D. Ventricular tachycardia. Guys, if you answered Alpha, you are correct. Atrial fibrillation. Anong nangyayari kay Yula? Walang P waves, no P wave. Anong meron? Fibrillatory wave. When you hear the word fibrillatory or fibrillation, it means it's just quivering, okay? Hindi maayos na contraction, parang nag-eme-eme lang siya dyan. So, pag nag-eme-eme lang siya, it cannot produce a proper wave, okay, formation on your EKG or ECG. Pero anong sabi? Before each QRS. So, does that mean may QRS segment tayo? Yes. So, we're looking for the rhythm na no P wave, pero may QRS. So, atrial fibrillation is the best answer kasi ito, meron kang P wave, wala. Atrial contraction produces your P wave. So, if the atrium is fibrillating, it cannot produce any P wave. Okay? Pero may QRS segments ba sa atrial fibrillation? Meron, guys. Okay? This one, no P wave. Pero, meron QRS segments. Sinus tachycardia, may P wave ba yan? Yes, making it not the best answer. Ventricular fibrillation, okay? May P wave ba yan? Wala. Tanong, may QRS ba yan? Wala rin, okay? Wala rin yung QRS segment. That's why it's also not the best answer. Kasi sabi dito, before each QRS. So, meaning may QRS ang rhythm na to. Ventricular tachycardia, may P wave ba yan? Walang P wave, pero may QRS segments ba yan? Yes, you have multiple QRS segments. Okay? Guys, so, to understand this better, yung mga electrocardiogram waves mo, please watch my TikTok video. Follow me at Study with Yan. Yan. The same lang ang username ko sa TikTok and sa YouTube. Panoorin niyo yung video ko dun. I have an explanation on these waves so that you understand it better. Okay? So, next. 11. The nurse is helping to defibrillate Toma, who is in ventricular fibrillation. What is the priority before discharging the device? A. Ensure the client has been intubated. B. Set the defibrillator to synchronized mode. C. Administer an amiodarone bolus. Or D. Confirm the cardiac rhythm. And the best answer is no other than Delta. Confirm the cardiac rhythm before you discharge the device. When you say discharge the device, guys, tanggalin mo yung charge niya or i-deliver mo yung charge niya. Kanino? Sa patient na naka-ventricular fibrillation, which is si Toma. Okay, si Toma. So, confirm the cardiac rhythm kasi always remember, there's only two rhythms that are shockable or worthy of defibrillation. Worthy. And those are number 1, your ventricular fibrillation when the ventricles are just quivering instead of pumping properly. And number 2, you have your ventricular tachycardia. Of what kind? Pulseless. It's a pulseless ventricular tachycardia. These two rhythms are the only shockable rhythms worthy of defibrillation. So, check muna, confirm the cardiac rhythm if it is indeed ventricular fibrillation or pulseless ventricular tachycardia before discharging the device or delivering the charge. Okay? Mali ang ibang choices kasi you don't have intubation is not a prerequisite to withhold or delay your defibrillation of the patient. Okay? The moment you can defibrillate the patient if they are in ventricular fibrillation or ventricular tachycardia na pulseless. Do not delay. Okay? And then, set the defibrillator to synchronized mode. Guys, ito lang. You set the defibrillator in synchronized mode. If there is a wave, you can synchronize it with. Guys, in ventricular fibrillation and ventricular tachycardia na pulseless, you cannot synchronize kasi walang maayos na waves dyan, okay? The ventricles are just quivering. You can only synchronize if you're doing your cardio version. Okay? Cardio version, okay? Ayun, you can only synchronize if you're doing your cardio version and if you have a proper R wave. If the machine can detect proper R waves. But there are no proper R waves in ventricular fibrillation and ventricular tachycardia na pulseless. That's why you cannot synchronize kasi you want to defibrillate. Okay? And then, administer an amiodarone bolus. Guys, you don't delay defibrillating the patient for intubation or whatever kind of medication. Ito lang ang rule. When you are ready to defibrillate your defibrillatory waves, such as your ventricular fibrillation and ventricular tachycardia, deliver the shock. Okay? Defibrillate and do not delay. Okay? Medications should not delay defibrillating the patient. Intubation should not delay defibrillating the patient. Okay, yun lang ang rule. The moment you can defibrillate the patient. Kaya mali yan. You don't administer an amiodarone bolus. Okay, that's why the best answer is delta. Next, number 12. Aether has a chest pain rated 8 out of 10. ST elevation in inferior leads and elevated troponin. What is the priority nursing action? Okay. A. Monitor daily weights and urine output. B. Permit unrestricted visitation. C. Provide client education on medications and diet. And D. Reduce pain and myocardial oxygen demand. And you are correct if you answered delta. Reduce pain and myocardial oxygen demand. That, guys, anong meron? Chest pain, ST elevation. Does that look MI to you already? Yes. And now, tinan mo pa, may elevated troponin, the one that is very sensitive to myocardial infarction, your troponin levels. Tama? Troponin ang cardiac biomarker natin to know if the patient is already in myocardial infarction. Okay? So, pag may MI ka na, anong gagawin mo? Do you prioritize any other things? No, the priority is to save the myocardial tissues that you can still save. And that is to reduce pain and the myocardial oxygen demand. So, when you reduce pain, you make the patient calm, tama? By giving your morphine sulfate to reduce your chest pain, okay? So, when the patient is more calm, the patient is more relaxed, okay? The RR, or the respiratory rate, will go down. The heart rate will also go down. So, if mababa yung dalawa, it will decrease your cardiac workload. Okay, the heart does not have to pump as hard as it has to pump. Okay, when you reduce the pain, when you make the patient calm and relaxed. Okay, so that's the priority when the patient is in ST elevation and elevated troponin levels. Delta is the best answer. Next, number 13. Mona is receiving IV nitroglycerin for chest pain. Which findings is of greatest concern before starting the drip? A. Serum potassium is 3.5 mg per liter. B. Blood pressure is 88/46. C. ST elevation on the ECG. Or D. Heart rate is 61. And you are correct if you answered bravo. Blood pressure is 88/46. This one is already hypotensive. Okay? And guys, what are you going to give? IV nitroglycerin. Always remember, guys, IV nitroglycerin, that is a vasodilator. And guys, yung tinuro ko, there are just two things that can control the blood pressure of the patient. Number one, if you have vasoconstriction, that will increase blood pressure. Vasodilation will decrease blood pressure. So ano to? Vasodilator ba si nitroglycerin? Yes. Okay? So can it decrease the blood pressure? Yes. And anong nangyari dito sa Bravo? Blood pressure is 88/46. Hypotensive na ba yan? Yes. So pag binigay mo ang IV nitroglycerin, mas bababa pa ba yan dyan? Yes. Okay? Kaya nga i-report mo na yan sa patient before you start the drip. Okay? Kasi further vasodilation will further decrease the blood pressure that is life-threatening to the patient. Okay? So, number 14. If venti develops cardiogenic shock after a myocardial infarction, which symptoms would the nurse expect? A. Oliguria, B. Bradycardia, C. Elevated blood pressure, or D. Fever? And the best answer is what? Oliguria. Guys, this is what I want you to remember in all types of shock. Okay? Pag may shock, always remember it's causing the blood vessels to vasodilate. And tulad ng tinuro ko, guys, vasodilation can drop the blood pressure. Okay? And if the blood pressure is dropped, there is drop in the perfusion to organs. And if bumaba ang perfusion sa organ, there will be a drop in the organ function. Now, look at oliguria. Oliguria is decrease in the urine output. Pag mababa ang urine output, this means what happened? There is decreased kidney function. Okay? Pag bumaba ang kidney function, what could have been the cause? Because of low organ function. Okay? Because of low perfusion to the organs caused by low blood pressure, essentially because of the vasodilation caused by the shock. Okay? So, alpha is the best answer. Guys, pag nasa shock ka, okay, mababa ang blood pressure mo. O, maling-mali na ang Charlie kasi it says elevated blood pressure. Mababa nga ang blood pressure, di ba? And it's not bradycardia, but rather the heart rate will increase as a compensation to the low blood pressure, okay? In order to perfuse the organs in the body, the heart rate will try to increase, okay? To compensate. And then, walang fever kasi fever only happens when you have infection. Infection ba to? No. Cardiogenic shock, wherein the cardiac muscles can no longer function properly and undergoes the cardiogenic shock, okay? Naging shock na siya, okay? So, that's the best answer. Number 15, thrombolytic therapy with alteplase ordered for Fischl during the first 6 hours of an MI. What is the purpose? A. Control chest pain. B. Reduce coronary artery vasospasm. C. Control arrhythmias. Or D. Revascularize the blocked coronary artery. Ito. The best answer should be A. Control chest pain. And bakit ko nasabi, guys? What you have to do in order to get the correct answer is to eliminate the wrong answers. Okay? Start tayo with delta. Revascularize the blocked coronary artery. Sino yung kayang mag-revascularize ng blocked coronary artery, guys? That's a surgical procedure. You call that your angioplasty, wherein you dilate or you revascularize, you open blocked coronary arteries. Okay? Baka dito nag-assume ka na to revascularize blocked coronary artery, you give alteplase to dissolve the clot. Okay? Kasi pag na-dissolve mo yung clot, ma'am, ma-revascularize mo ang blocked artery. Okay? Yan, nag-overanalyze ka. Okay? Nag-overanalyze ka. Guys, in order to revascularize a blocked coronary artery, blocked coronary artery. Hindi sinabing there's a clot there. Okay? Tapos, you have to dissolve the clot. O, walang ganong nakasulat. Okay? So, nag-overanalyze ka. To revascularize the blocked coronary artery, what you have to do is a surgical procedure, which is your angioplasty, or also known as your, familiar with your balloon, angioplasty. Okay? You insert a catheter, and then kung nasaan yung occluded area or blocked na artery, you inflate the balloon to open that area. Okay? So, ganun mag-revascularize. Control arrhythmia. Sino nagko-control ng arrhythmia? Alteplase ba? No, that's your anti-dysrhythmic drug. Okay? Reduce coronary artery vasospasm. Sino yan? That's your calcium channel blockers. Remember, kanina sa question 1, may variant angina or Prinzmetal angina. The cause is vasospasm. Anong binigay sa patient? Calcium channel blockers. Kasi yun yung nagpapastop ng vasospasm or nagpapadilate. Okay? Nagpapadilate ng mga coronary artery. Okay? Control chest pain. Siya na lang ang naiwan. And guys, pag na-dissolve mo ang clot, mawawala ba ang chest pain? Yes. Okay? Kaya that's one of the purpose of your alteplase during the first 6 hours of a myocardial infarction. Okay? Control chest pain. Once you're able to dissolve the clot, the pain will disappear. Okay? So that's it. Alpha is the best answer. Number 16, Barbara becomes unresponsive. BP is 80/40. Ang kanyang oxygen is 99%. Then, on 50% mask na siya. Okay? What should the nurse do first? A. Begin chest compressions. B. Call the rapid response team. C. Remove the family from the room. Or D. Ventilate with an ambu bag. And the best answer is you have to call the rapid response team. Guys, anong nangyari sa kanya guys? Nagde-deteriorate ba si Barbara? Yes, naging unresponsive, naging hypotensive, bumaba ang oxygen saturation despite the mask. Call the rapid response team kasi they are the ones that will respond to what is happening to Barbara. Okay? They have protocol on what to do with what kind of situation is ongoing. So this is a medical team composed of your doctors and nurses, okay, and other healthcare providers na alam kung anong gagawin. May algorithm na fina-follow to whatever kind of situation is ongoing to the patient. You don't begin chest compressions. You do chest compressions but if there's no pulse and no breathing, tama? No pulse and no breathing. Sinabi ba exactly sa question, the patient has no pulse and no breathing to prompt you to do CPR? Wala, okay? So don't assume unless it's directly stated. Remove the family from the room. No, let them stay. You let the family stay so that they can see there are efforts being done to save their patient. If they want to leave on their own volition, they can also leave, okay? But you don't remove the family in the room. You allow them to stay if they want to. Delta, ventilate with an ambu bag. You call the rapid response team and they will be the one to take over and do what they have to do to the patient. Okay? That's it. Number 17. While Xiao is receiving TPA, as your tissue plasmina dyan out of place, why should the nurse have resuscitation equipment ready? A. Cardiac dysrhythmias. B. Hypertension. C. Seizure. Or D. Hypothermia. O, pag nagbigay ka ng TPA, anong gusto mong gawin? You want to dissolve the clot kasi that one is a thrombolytic. Tama? Yes. So, bakit may resuscitation dapat nandiyan? It's because when you are able to dissolve the clot, it can have the potential to cause cardiac arrhythmias. Okay? Cardiac arrhythmias. That's why yan. O guys, and context clues. Alin sa following na yan ang nangangailangan ng resuscitation equipment? Ano? Is it hypertension, seizure, or hypothermia? It's your cardiac arrhythmias. Yan yung nangangailangan ng resuscitation equipment. Next, number 18. On day 2 post-op hip surgery, Beidou with no cardiac history reports chest heaviness. What is the nurse's first action? A. Ask about onset, duration, and severity. B. Administer oxygen. C. Offer pain meds. Or D. Notify the physician. And the best answer is, as a nurse, you should first A. Ask for onset, duration, and severity. What are you doing in A, guys? You are doing your assessment. Okay? Assessment muna. Why? Because tingnan mo, ang sabi dito si Beidou, no cardiac history. Okay? Walang cardiac history. So, it will not directly tell you, maybe it's MI, maybe it's angina. For you to be able to conclude what's going on with Beidou, you have to first do your assessment so that you can gather more information regarding the chest tightness, chest heaviness that Beidou is experiencing. Okay? So that's the best answer. Assessment. Okay? Remember your ADPI assessment comes first before anything else. It applies in this question. Next, number 19. Ayaka is referred for cardiac catheterization due to unstable angina. The nurse explains the purpose is to A. Open blocked arteries. B. Assess arterial blockage extent. C. Bypass obstructed vessels. And D. Assess valve and muscle function. And the best answer is, you are correct if you said bravo. It will assess arterial blockage extent. It can assess the extent of damage to the coronary arteries. That's the function of your cardiac catheterization. Okay, remember guys, ang ginagawa natin sa cardiac catheterization, we insert a catheter through an artery, di ba? Either your femoral artery or your ulnar artery or whichever artery the physician chooses. Tama? Inserting the catheter through the artery hanggang sa makarating ka sa coronary arteries ng heart, and then you inject a dye, the contrast dye, used to visualize kung nasaan yung mga area na damage na sa coronary artery, di ba? Ganun yung cardiac catheterization. So, anong ginagawa niya? It's assessing arterial blockage extent. Okay? It will not open blocked arteries. Again, sinong gagawa niyan? That's your angioplasty. Okay, angioplasty. Charlie, bypass obstructed vessels. Sino gumagawa niyan, guys? That's your CABG. Tama? Coronary artery bypass graft, cabbage. Okay? Siya yung nagbabypass ng obstructed arteries, your cabbage. And then assess valve and muscle function, although cardiac catheterization can assess kung nagpa-function yung valves mo and muscles mo dyan sa heart. But the priority, okay, ano yung purpose talaga pag mag-cardiac catheterization ka sa isang unstable angina? Tingnan mo, okay, kung alin na ba sa mga coronary arteries niya ang damage. You assess the extent of damage. Kaya Bravo is the best answer. Number 20. Kuki Shinobu has undergone PTCA or your percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty. What is a priority goal immediately post-procedure? A. Minimize dyspnea. B. Maintain blood pressure. C. Decrease myocardial contractility. Or D. Prevent fluid volume deficit. And the best answer is Delta, prevent fluid volume deficit. Guys, yun mo guys, priority goal immediately post-op. Okay? Guys, percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty, you pass it through. Okay? Yung catheter, you pass it through an artery, like your femoral artery. So, pag dumaan ka sa artery, guys, you have an increased risk for bleeding. Okay, kasi that's an artery. So, increased risk for bleeding or hemorrhage. And yun ang tinatanong. Immediately post-op, what is the patient at risk for in whatever kind of surgery, like your PTCA? Bleeding, okay? And that's your delta, prevent fluid volume deficit. Okay? That's why delta is the best answer. Next, number 20. A client with CHF or congestive heart failure, atrial fibrillation, and a 15% ejection fraction, Chiori, kawawa naman si Chiori, is taking warfarin. What is the expected outcome? A. Decrease circulatory overload. B. Improve myocardial workload. C. Prevent thrombus formation. Or D. Regulate cardiac rhythm. Oh, and the best answer is what? It's Charlie. Prevent thrombus formation. Ano siya meron, guys? Taking warfarin. Warfarin, heparin, these are your anticoagulants. Tama? Anticoagulants. They will prevent a clot from forming. Prevent. Okay? Preventive. Sino yung nagdi-dissolve? Dissolves pag may clot ka na. Pag may clot ka na, the one that dissolves is thrombolytics. But if you don't want the clot to happen, to ever happen, you want to prevent it from happening, eh di magbigay ka ng anticoagulant like your warfarin. That's why Charlie is the best answer. Okay? Next. Number 22. Kokomi is on Lasix. That's your furosemide. Digoxin and potassium chloride. She has nausea, vision changes, confusion, and an AV block on the telemetry. What should the nurse suspect? A. Hyperkalemia. B. Digoxin toxicity. C. Fluid deficit. Or D. Pulmonary edema. And the best answer is digoxin toxicity. Guys, I have a technique. For you to know if it's digoxin toxicity, just remember, give. Ano tong give? GI. These are your gastrointestinal signs and symptoms like nausea and vomiting, okay, abdopain, ano pa? Diarrhea, yan. Those are your GI, okay? Signs and symptoms. Next, you have letter V or your visual changes or visual changes. And those are your halo around lights. Tama? And then lastly, you have your letter E. That's for your electrolyte imbalance. And what's the electrolyte imbalance in your digoxin toxicity? That's your hypokalemia. Mababa ang potassium. Okay? Low potassium. So, digoxin toxicity presents as your give. So, anong nangyayari kay Kokomi, guys? Kokomi is experiencing nausea, vision changes, vision changes, confusion, and an AV block on the telemetry. So, anong suspect natin dito? Digoxin toxicity. Is the patient taking digoxin? Yes. Okay, that's why the best answer is Bravo, digoxin toxicity. Okay, let's proceed. Number 23. Yan Fei presents with heart failure and pulmonary edema. Which assessment should be performed first? Okay, A, blood pressure, B, skin breakdown, C, serum potassium, or D, urine output. And the best answer is you check the blood pressure of the patient. Kasi blood pressure, one of the vital signs ba yan? Yes. And then, ang meron si patient, guys, heart failure and then pulmonary edema. Okay? Guys, pag ikaw ay may heart failure and then may congestion na, may increase in fluid congestion sa katawan mo, kaya ka nagkaroon ng pulmonary edema, it can increase your blood pressure. Remember what I said in my previous video, there are just two things that can increase the blood pressure. Number one, vasoconstriction, the blood pressure will go up. And number two, blood volume. If the blood volume goes up, such as fluid congestion in your heart failure, it can increase blood pressure. Okay? How do you know there's already fluid accumulation or congestion in heart failure? Pag napupunta na siya kung saan-saan sa katawan, kung saan hindi naman siya dapat mapunta. Like that one, pulmonary edema. Okay? Nandun na yung tubig sa baga ng pasyente mo. That means there's fluid congestion. So check the blood pressure of the patient because increase in the fluid or blood volume can increase blood pressure in heart failure. That's why A is the correct answer. Next, number 24. What is the best option for Nilu who is suspected of having heart failure? A, low Fowlers, B, Sims position, C, high Fowlers, or D, Trendelenburg's. Okay? And you are correct if you answered high Fowlers position. Remember, in heart failure, your heart is already failing to do its work. It can no longer effectively pump blood, okay? So if the heart can no longer effectively pump blood, what happens to the blood is that it goes back to the vasculature, especially in the veins. Doon siya magba-backflow. So lahat ng backflow ng blood na yan, kasi hindi na nagpa-pump ng maayos ang iyong heart, okay? Goes back to the veins. And when it goes back to the veins, it start to accumulate in the different parts of the body. Kaya ka nagkakaroon ng mga hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, ascites when you have right-sided heart failure, and then later on your pulmonary side naman, mga pulmonary edema, crackles, pink frothy sputum, okay? Yun lahat nangyayari kapag ikaw ay may heart failure na. So, bakit mo i-high Fowlers? Going back to the previous question, pag may congestion na nangyayari, you also consider there might be congestions on the lungs as well. Again, anong priority sa nursing? Airway, breathing, and circulation. So, which of the following will address an airway concern, especially in heart failure? And the high Fowlers, okay? Upright position. And especially so, pag naka-upright position ang pasyente mo, there's more area for the lungs to expand, okay? The lungs can expand properly. High Fowler's position is the best answer. Okay? Kaya, next number na tayo. 25. What is the primary reason for instructing Noel to take furosemide in the morning? A. Prevent electrolyte imbalances. B. Retard rapid drug absorption. C. Excrete overnight fluid accumulation. And D. Prevent sleep disturbance. And the best answer is no other than, when you give furosemide, guys, what will it do? It will increase your urine output. Okay? Ihi ka ba ng ihi kapag nag-diuretics ka like furosemide? Yes. So, kung ihi ka ng ihi, ibigay mo siya sa morning kasi pag bigay mo ng gamot na yan, later on, iihi ng pasyente mo, at least umaga. Hindi may istorbo ang kanyang tulog. Kaya, prevent sleep disturbances. Okay? All other choices are wrong. Overnight fluid accumulation, sa gabi lang ba nag-accumulate ng fluid si Noel kapag siya ay may heart failure? Okay, hindi. Okay? Nag-accumulate yan chronically. Nag-accumulate siya ng fluid over time, not just overnight. Okay? Mali yan. So, retard rapid drug absorption, mali. Okay? Hindi nangyayari yan. And prevent electrolyte imbalances, there is a risk for electrolyte imbalance in furosemide kasi it's potassium wasting, but that's not the primary reason why we give it in the morning. It's to prevent sleep disturbances. Okay? That's the best answer. Number 26. When admitting Zino, who has left ventricular enlargement and 2+ ankle edema, what is the nurse's first action? A. Assess respiratory status. B. Draw blood. C. Insert Foley catheter. And D. Weigh the patient. Guys, lahat ng choices correct, but it's asking you for the first action or your priority action, and that's your assess respiratory status. Expert na kayo dito, guys. Ano ang ating priority lagi? Airway, breathing, circulation. Okay, saan ang airway dyan? Respiratory status. Draw blood? Later. Insert catheter? Later. Weigh the patient for baseline weight? Later. The priority is airway. Okay, so that's the best answer. Number 27, Faruzan returns post-cardiac catheterization. What is the most important initial assessment? A. Monitor labs. B. Neuro checks every 15 minutes. C. Observe puncture site. Or D. Monitor skin turgor. And the best answer is Charlie. Okay, monitor the puncture site. Guys, ano yan? Cardiac catheterization. Remember what I said? The puncture site is what? An artery. Artery ang gamit natin, like your femoral artery, your ulnar artery, okay? So, you assess and observe the puncture site as an initial assessment kasi it has the increased risk for bleeding, lalo na kapag artery ang iyong pinasukan. Okay? So, yan. Neuro checks are not important. We want to check what? The cardiovascular status. Hindi ang neuro. Hindi pa to neuro, cardio pa lang to. Okay? Monitor labs later. Initial assessment, go to your increased risk for bleeding because we are puncturing an artery here. Charlie is the best answer. Next, number 26. Metoprolol is added to Yoimiya's meds for stage 2 hypertension. What is an expected therapeutic effect? A. Decrease in heart rate. B. Less fatigue. C. Improve blood sugar levels. And D. Increase urine output. Okay? And the best answer is no other than alpha. Decrease in heart rate. Remember guys, ano ginagawa ni metoprolol? Mga olols. That's your beta blockers, remember? Oh, what I said about beta blockers, will it block your catecholamines, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine? Yes. Once it blocks the catecholamines, will it decrease your sympathetic nervous system stimulation? Yes. Will it decrease your fight or flight response? Yes. Okay. So, heart rate, will it go up or go down? With your beta blocker, it will go down. Kaya, the best answer is A, decrease in heart rate. Okay. The rest of the choices, they are irrelevant. It has nothing to do with fatigue, and especially in the blood sugar levels, and especially in the urine output. Okay, sino gumagawa nan? That's your diuretics. Okay, so that's it. That's the best answer. 29. The nurse is educating an elderly Arataki Ito about hypertension being a silent killer. What condition should he be taught to watch for? A. CVA. B. Liver disease. C. Myocardial infarction. And D. Pulmonary disease. And the best answer is no other than your alpha, cerebrovascular accident. Just remember, what did I say about hypertension? Hypertension, sobrang taas ng blood pressure. There is an increased risk for blood vessel injury. Okay? Now, saan ang part ng katawan na may fragile blood vessels that can easily rupture with an increased blood pressure? Blood vessels in the brain. Kaya it will increase the risk for your cerebral hemorrhage, also known as your hemorrhagic stroke. Okay? And your hemorrhagic stroke is that your CVA, cerebrovascular accident. Yes. Okay? Yes. Ma'am, bakit hindi yung iba? Guys, liver disease, can it kill the patient? Yes, pero chronic pa, no? Chronically, it can kill. Sino yung acute na can directly kill the patient in a short span of time? CVA, okay? Ma'am, myocardial infarction pala. Okay? Guys, ano ang cause ng myocardial infarction? Is that hypertension? No. The cause of your myocardial infarction is blockage in the circulation of the coronary artery because of plaques like your fats or because of stenosis or narrowing of the coronary arteries. So, nasaan doon ang hypertension? Wala. Okay? So, alin ang nakakakos ng death because of hypertension? CVA. Okay? Ma'am, pulmonary disease. Ikaw na. Okay? Ang layo-layo niyan sa hypertension. Kaya alpha ang best answer. Okay. And the last item, number 30. Razor's cardiac monitor shows ventricular tachycardia. What should the nurse do first? A. Prepare for cardioversion. B. Start CPR. C. Check for a pulse. Or D. Prepare for defibrillation. And the best answer is, you are correct if you answered Charlie. Check for a pulse. Guys, iba ang algorithm kapag ang ventricular tachycardia ay may pulse or ang ventricular tachycardia ay pulseless. Remember? So guys, check for a pulse. If there is a pulse, the next thing you'd have to do is to check if the patient is stable or unstable. If the patient is unstable, that's the time you can cardiovert. Okay? But if the patient is stable, okay, conscious, gising, okay lang naman siya, anong gagawin mo? You give your meds. Okay? Like your amiodarone. Okay? So that's it for a ventricular tachycardia with a pulse. Guys, what if the ventricular tachycardia is pulseless? Pulseless ventricular tachycardia. Remember what I said? Two shockable rhythms you have, ventricular fibrillation and ventricular tachycardia na pulseless. So this is the one that you defibrillate. Okay? So you prepare for a defibrillation in your pulseless ventricular tachycardia. What's the management, guys? Defibrillate. And then, do your continuous high-quality cardiopulmonary resuscitation and then give your epinephrine every 3 minutes. Okay? That's the algorithm we follow in a pulseless ventricular tachycardia. Kaya nga, siyang tunay. Ang dapat mong gawin, check for pulse first. And then right then and there, you will know what you have to do next. If there's a pulse or if there's no pulse. Okay? That's all. Hope you learned. Bye!